Okay, then, welcome back. Our next story. You know, the recent increase in the pump price of petroleum products was bound to aggravate an already muddled situation in our country. Organized labor kicked, even if the Nigerian is not persuaded by its sincerity. The NNPC, the only player in the industry, must move to save face. Labor heavyweights had been meeting with government representatives over the increase, something both of them admit had to be done, and very soon. The NNPC has asked for a 7-day grace period for it to consult on the reversal of the new price regime. Sometimes you listen to a wise enemy, Jide.
Here's what.
If you got that picture.
You see, we just must make up our minds what we want to do with our oil sector. We must make up our minds on whether we want to continue the subsidy regime. We must decide whether we want to leave the field open for all willing players and allow some even-handedness to take place. The way it is now, we've been talking about deregulation of the downstream sector. But it looks like we are not ready for deregulation, for full deregulation. Partial deregulation is not the solution to our problem because it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
I can tell you that if we had made up our minds to embark on full deregulation, PPPMC won't be talking about price regime. PPPRA won't be talking about fixing prices.
Because it would not be their business.
Because even the price, yes, definitely it won't be their business.
Yeah.
The last price that was announced to Nigeria, you know that it was PPMC. It was actually leaked. Because that's the petroleum marketing
company.
Sector of, which
NNPC.
is an arm of NNPC.
Yeah.
So why is this happening? Because we have not fully deregulated. We have not fully deregulated. I was watching an NNPC man on TV. They were asking him, he tried to dodge. The guy kept coming after him. Invariably, he was forced to say, we have not fully deregulated, that we were in the process. So if you are fully deregulated, there's no way the NNC will come and say, no, go back to that price. Because price will be determined by market forces. You are not going to tell market forces that, no, market forces, we don't want this price. Go back to something cheaper. No. So we should tell ourselves the truth. And if MNPC is the preferred importer now, if I can describe them as such, but there are still a few players in that sector, citizen, who are still bringing in product. They are still.
But why are we giving this picture that the NNPC is the be-all and end-all?
No, this is our country. You know the things that happen in our country. There are still a few players in that sector who are still allowed to import. Yes. And I'm saying this with a high sense of responsibility because I know it's the truth. And they know that I'm saying the truth. They know it. So if we want to fully deregulate, I don't know what they tell the president. If we want to fully deregulate, let us fully deregulate. The prices will be fixed by the market forces. But the NLC knows that full deregulation has not taken place. They have their members now, and these who are working in that sector. So that is why they can come now and say, see, we don't want this price. You have to go back to the old price regime. So how much longer? Petroleum Equalization Fund, the moment we embark on full deregulation, they are going to be relevant in that sector. Yeah. PPPRA, that fixes prices. will have no business fixing prices.
Oh, yeah.
They will be shunted aside.
The market regulates itself at that
Yes.
time.
You know, so this is the thing. I don't know whether they can go back to that price. It's a possibility. I don't know whether they simply want to use this period to pile pressure on NLC to take it easy, agree with them, let this price be sustained. Because let's face it, we cannot sustain that subsidy regime. At some point, we must be prepared to buy the bullet.
Doctor, you know, trouble with my country, your country is many people tend to believe the things they don't know anything about. Deregulation. By the way, before I forget, the PIB, you know, PIB.
Petroleum Industry Bill.
Yeah, passed the second reading. So does it in any way have anything to do with what we are discussing when it becomes law?
Well, it will, but like I said here last week, every bill and which eventually becomes a law has to be operated by human beings. And that is where we usually have our problems. Like Babajide said, we've been told since the beginning of this year that subsidy was going to go. But even the Minister of State for Petroleum confirmed, that's Timmy Silva, that subsidy is still much around. And we've been told that there has been nothing like subsidy for a while. So what are we talking about? That's why I said last week, like, humans make most of our laws non-functional.
Yeah.
Because when we get to the point where we are supposed to put down our feet and say, no, this is the way we are going to go, we are going to come back again and say, no, there is still room to wriggle out of it.
Maneuver.
This maneuvering, for me, isn't working. And
go on.
And like it's been said, NNPC almost the sole importer, but not fully. And that is simply because this business is dollar denominated. You can't run away from it. And who has easy access to dollar? It's the government. And that's why you saw that at some point, most of these importers, they backed down because they couldn't sustain the rising dollar. It went from 1 something to 2 something, 3 something. Now we are battling at over 400.
Of course,
so,
you know, Doctor, you know, that's
And the
mainly
government
because
was also fond of owing them.
Owing them.
Yet these people take money from banks. They take loans from
banks. And banks are on their neck.
So
how does NLC hope to convince government to come down?
And you know,
and
our Naira will continue to take the whipping because we are not producing. We are not producing.
I was going to say that the only solution, what we can see now is for us to start refining. If we don't, I see that when we do this full-blown deregulation, most of us will be able to afford petrol.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Most of us won't be able to.
Because every time it goes up, the country makes more money.
More money.
But the end consumer pays more.
More.
Baseball, yeah.
Which is you will be excited that, oh, your country will earn more money. States too will earn more money. Because the distributable revenue is put on the table every month.
May I quickly rub this in? We had a talk about 2 modular refineries in Imo.
Yes.
Some hope, some light at the end of the
5,000
tunnel.
barrels. 5,000 barrels.
Are we refining anything? One
No,
barrel?
the thing is, it's good news what they're saying, because I don't want to appear like someone who doesn't get excited about good things. It's good news, but I would have expected, as I said, I think earlier this week, that after 21 years of unbroken democracy, that we will have been able to add 1 or 2 more refineries.
Oh, yeah.
Because even the Saudis, who have been able to stamp their feet as the number 1, you know, in that in the oil business, they've been able to build more refineries, and a lot of those refineries simply dedicated to refining for export.
Export.
That's a dedication.
So they make money for people like us. People like us.
Who prefer to
one of
import.
one of their newest refineries is a 400,000 barrels a day refinery.
Please, don't break my heart.
We
have Yakub is here. Yakub, good evening to you. Welcome.
Yeah, citizen, good evening, sir.
I greet you too.
And then, Lavagide, good evening, and the other gentleman.
And the other man is Dotun.
Mr. Dotun, sorry, good evening, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I think this week, I was so amazing when Babajide was telling us, Nigerian citizens, that in U.S., United States of America, one state there, Babajide made us to know that a single state has almost 20 refineries.
More than 20.
I was opening my mouth when watching that very particular group.
The whole
Nigerian, you cannot be able to boast of 4 refineries. And then the gentleman that is Minister of Petroleum for State, I watched that program that day, Mr. Babajide.
Yes.
He was trying to dodge the question. He's trying to dodge the question.
Yes,
At the end of the day, he made us to know that we are still paying subsidy. So the question now, Babajide, is that now, when we are paying this subsidy now, what made this price now going up? Because you say that we are still paying the subsidy, and then the guy that they still put a question to him that, okay, who is imported the petroleum price now? He said that NNPC. And then the guy now asked, why is it only NNPC? The man now replied that because they can be able to source for dollar by themselves. Look at that. They can be able to source for dollar by themselves.
Okay. Many thanks. Gentlemen, but we live in a country where almost every other person wants to be right at all times. You know what, Doctor, if you are telling the truth, do you know you don't need to remember anything?
You don't need to. But
you say it as it is.
The point is, we all know what is right. It is the capacity to follow through with what is right. When NLC was asking for a raise, nothing wrong with that, because the Naira wasn't enough in terms of value to sustain the minimum wage. But we knew that this thing was going to come from somewhere.
So quickly, because we must move on, there's a 7-day moratorium or grace the NNPC is asking for. At a time like this?
Yes, what we're going to say is that the government is going to withdraw from its position that it has started deregulation. Or muzzle its way through.
Well, everyone knows they have not started now. Anyone who is informed now knows that the regulation has not started.
It has not.
You know, and the people, the NLC people, they have workers in the oil sector. They know that there are some conditions that must be met before you can truly say that regulation has taken place. So where PPPRA is still fixing prices and talking about landing costs and all this, then you cannot be talking about deregulation. That means it's still regulated.
So where are the market forces? Where are the market forces?
Where you are still paying petroleum marketers bridging costs through the Petroleum Equalization Fund, then it still means that it is still regulated, because you are doing all of that so that the cost of coming to lift petroleum products from Lagos does not push the marketer to increase. So we want to have the same price across the country, but it's at a huge cost.
Because
even that is a form of subsidy in itself. We want to have the same price right up to Maiduguri as far as it is. That's why the idea of Petroleum Equalization Fund came in. So you pay bridging costs. That's the cost of coming here, pay for your tanker, to move it to the north, so that we have the same price.
All right. In taking this home finally, government must realize that it is here for the benefit of the people and not the other way around. Okay then, to our next story. The unnerving NSAS nationwide agitation was bound to leave so much sour taste in the mouth. Cases of police brutality vary in size and scope from state to state. The Lagos state government set up a panel of inquiry into police brutality a while back, and as many as 110 petitions have poured in. Head of the panel, retired Judge Doris Okuwobi, I hope I got that right, made the disclosure. Dr. An open sesame?
Well, I wasn't expecting so much from the panel because in the past, we had the Oputa panel, which brought up a lot of issues, including some of these atrocities. I won't say that that panel did not achieve anything. It achieved something. We moved from one point to the other. But usually, what we do in our own country is to move an issue from point A and not move it completely to point B and just leave it hanging.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps if we had dealt with those issues squarely at that time, it would have sent down a very strong message that even when you are in uniform, you don't unleash brutality on the next person. We had a lot of stories at the Oputa panel. It was a huge drama for the media then. We had sensational stories. But where did it get us to? So now, this panel has at least 110 cases before it.
You think that's conservative? That
For me,
is
it
conservative?
is. Because what it means is a lot of people have decided, let me move on. What is the point in going to this panel? Because what is happening in the panel shows us that we may not get so much out of it. Policemen who have been accused don't show up. They are either on one investigation or the other, or they've been transferred out of Lagos, and they need so much permission from here, from there, to be able to come and appear before the panel. So it's I don't know. I don't know where we're going to get with this. I really don't know.
Okay.
I really don't know.
So at least the panel is there, so anybody has a story to tell should go there.
Yes.
I've heard the typical Nigerian thing, the fear of going there, make them no come kill me, and stuff like that. But that's not helping matters at all.
No, but how about the policemen, the police council not showing up and telling us that he's sick and all that? You know, where government shows sincerity in setting up a panel such as this, everyone must jump in to make the panel succeed. The woman who is the retired judge, you know, Kula, said, no, I don't want to serve my state or my country in this capacity, but she has elected to serve. So no one should frustrate her work. Once you are invited, you need to show up and tell your story. And what all of this tells us is that police brutality, police extrajudicial killings, police harassment and extortion was very prevalent right up to the time when we had the NSAS protests. And the NSAS protests were justified. People can say what they like.
No doubt about that.
Because I still maintain that the people who went on burning Lagos and other places were not the NSAS protesters.
No, obviously.
Yes.
Obviously.
Other people got involved. They had noble intentions. Even the president admitted it, that your agitation is genuine.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they stayed too long on the road, and hungry beasts took over the whole thing. They hijacked it. They were the ones releasing prisoners in Benin who are now tormenting the whole country. But it still doesn't take away the fact that the protest against the police and the irresponsible way some policemen were killing people, turning people to target practice, as object for target practice, was reckless, and it has to end. And we must continue. So I've read all kinds of stories. Somebody pushed down from a 2-story building and ended up on wheelchair. We had beasts. We are in uniform. In the fullness of time, Nigerians will see in bold relief the kind of police, the kind of bad eggs in the police that we had.
But you know,
the kind of bad eggs that we had in the police, they will see. Maybe they are testing them now. They've said that all of those SARS people, that they should do psychological and even mental. A lot of them, if they test their urine samples,
Drugs.
You will see drug,
That is
narcotics.
no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah.
Let them release the result of even the few that they've tested. Because I know they've not gone very far. If they release the result, you will see that majority of those SARS people, because they were never behaving like decent people.
Yeah.
A majority of them, you will see evidence of substance abuse through their urine.
But Jide, in all honesty, isn't it true sometimes that we marry the police we have because we produced it?
They turn themselves to beasts. I, for example, I'm a Nigerian. I'm proud of Nigerians who are doing their work in the right way. But a policeman, a greedy policeman, who will say just because you didn't give him money, open fire on you.
Do you know
we did not
it started from somewhere. We can debate it from somewhere.
Hold on. We turn the to that. Within that same police, there are people that you cannot even offer them bribe and expect that they will take it.
I agree.
They would rather die. They would rather invite God to take their lives than kill people.
Gentlemen, I must take us to Kenya not too long ago.
Yeah.
Kenya had trouble with the police. They have what we call keke here is matoka. They call it that. And the people held a meeting and said from today we don't give police any cover. Do you know the matokas numbered hundreds and police had to run. That's what I meant by, okay, Dotun, seriously.
They are doing answers too. But the thing is, answer doesn't happen every day.
No. But Dr. I'm saying, in your heart of hearts, if police is allowed to do its job in this country, do you know many people will be behind bars?
Yes, there will be. That's if the police will do the job.
If they are allowed too much in the way of their doing their work.
Oh, Nigerians.
No,
we can debate it.
We can debate it, but...
Oh, it is debatable. Hold on.
Okay.
So as to guide you, you will run foul of the law. Rather than allow the law take its course, you won't settle. One settlement, too many. That's what is keeping us here.
The person being settled is obligated to reject it.
And then ensure that person goes to court for offering bribe.
You people are thinking of utopia, and there's no state like that.
We had it in the past.
You asked those questions, and we're answering your question the way we understand it.
We've had it in the past.
There are decent people. The police has produced decent people. I've mentioned examples before. There are some Nigerians that are so decent that they can never steal anybody's money. But in this same country, there are individuals who think that, every Nigerian has a price.
Yes.
So they offer money. When you refuse to take the money, they then begin to persecute you, make sure that you don't grow. Obasanjo told the story on the day that the NAFDAC headquarters was opened, how he discovered Akunyili.
Akunyili, yes.
Akunyili was sent abroad on a course. She came back. She didn't spend all the money. She returned the money to the treasury. And other people in the establishment began to hate her.
Because
after
she exposed them.
Because she refused to be like them.
She exposed them.
She refused to be like them. So when Obasanjo now wanted someone to head NAFDAC, it was suggested to her that there is one woman there. That woman, decent woman, they didn't let her grow because she chose not to be like other people.
Oh, yeah.
And there are many Nigerians that they don't get promoted, but they would rather not revolt against their conscience. Those are the kind of Nigerians that we want, whether in the police or in the army or the Air Force. Those are the kind of Nigerians that we want. We must not resign to fate and tell ourselves that, society produced the kind of police that it deserves. No. Society must reward policemen who chose not to be corrupt. The moment we start rewarding such people, look at the woman who saw money in the airport. They were telling her, and they say, you will never be rich in your life. You are an idiot. In spite of that, as poor as she is,
she returned it.
She returned the money. Those are the kind of Nigerians that we need. If we want our country to grow, those are the people that we need. Not people who steal with reckless abandon, and you still see them, they are still holding on to top positions. We are able to kick them out of those positions. So, how can we progress like that when everybody is thinking of stealing?
Jide, but you know, the people's indifference is the biggest breeding ground for corruption. People couldn't be bothered.
That is why they suggested increase in police salary. You can say that, even police salary, look, small as it is an incentive for corruption. You can say that, I will agree. And that's why those young people, in coming up with their demand, they said increase the wages of the police because they protect you and therefore they deserve to be better paid.
Even a further argument
That
on that is...
we must go. 110 petitions. Do you know
Let me make a suggestion.
Okay.
In setting up a panel like this, we should always be cognizant of the fact that once there is no top person in any of those establishments where you need people to appear, it's going to be difficult. I think a person...
Or if it's backed by law, people will...
Yes, if it's backed by law. Then two is that the releasing authority must be there. Somebody who can talk to a CP and say, release this person to this panel. Yeah. Not going
but
through...
you can't take the IG to the place, for example.
No, not the IG. At least he has an AIG who is superior to all the CPs.
But the IG can overrule him.
No, yes, he can. But what we are saying is, at least there is somebody who can talk to the
truth is,
to the command
if it
level.
is backed by law.
Backed by law?
If it's backed by law.
A top person.
You mean the panel?
Yes, if it is backed by law, everybody
must come there.
Because you know that you end up in jail.
You must come there.
One of the reasons people didn't take the, what was it called? The confab seriously was because it was not backed by law. Once it's backed by law, any someone made will be respected.
That's it. Okay, we must pack it all in here. Dr. let's thank you very kindly for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Jide, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
So there's another week. This is the last program for today and the week. Thank you for being there since Monday.
Thank you.
The show is all about you. At the Hangout, we bring very serious issues, break them down, give you facts, just so you make up your mind. The backroom boys here, thank you for the program. But if you missed...
Black Friday.
Don't say Black Friday again. Don't say Black Friday.
No, we have gone past
Black
that.
Friday.
But by the way, do you know Christmas Day is a Friday?
When I go to Grand Square now to buy something cheap or somewhere else, where I can get something at a cheaper rate because it's Black Friday, you then tell me I should not, call it Black Friday.
All right, so okay then.
Too much religiosity in our country. Impotent religiosity.
Oh, you are saying that. Okay, you may see the program on other platforms which will display on the screen. And on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Take care.